Let's try our last two examples. So let's start with our hint that whatever's on the inside should be u 90% of the time. So let's start with that. So I have u is going to be x minus 1. So then du, derivative of that is just 1. So then, and I already brought my dx over. So du is just dx. So if I rewrite this integral, then this is going to be my u, and this is going to be my du. So let's substitute those in. So I have x square root of u du. Now, are you starting to see our problem? This du tells us the language we're speaking in. So this whole integral should be in the language of u's. Only have u's in it. But it doesn't. There's an x there. So I cannot integrate this yet. So I'm going to do something really sneaky. I'm going to start with my u again. U is x minus 1. And I'm going to solve this for x. So I know x equals u plus 1. And then what I'm going to do is take that and substitute it in there for x. So then x is going to be u plus 1. I'm going to change my square root of u to be u to the 1/2, and then du. So that du says we should be in the language of u's. Are we? Yes. Now everything's in u, so now we're good. So what I'm going to do is distribute this u to the 1/2. So I get u times u to the 1/2 plus 1 times u to the 1/2 du. And if you remember, anytime we multiply, that means we add our exponents. So this is really going to be u to the 3/2 plus u to the 1/2. And now this is a power rule. So I add 1, so I should get 5/2 over 5/2 plus add 1 power rule, 3/2 over 3/2 plus my constant of integration. I'm going to do my leave flip change on this. So this is going to turn into a 2/5 instead of a 5/2 because I flipped the denominator. And then this is going to be a 2/3 instead of a 3/2 underneath because I flipped the denominator. And now my last step is to plug my u back in. So my u is x minus 1 to the 5/2 plus 2/3. Plug my u in. X minus 1 to the 3/2 plus my constant of integration. And there we go. So it's basically the same thing we were doing. We just have this extra step here. And we know we had to do that extra step because we're not in the language we need to be. We had that extra x here that wasn't in the u language. So we solved for that letter and plugged it in, so then we were all in the right language. So let's try the same process on number 8. And I'm going to have you start this one off. So once again, I'll start you with the hint that usually what is on the inside is your u. So start off with that, and then I'll come back partway through to give you a check and see how you're doing. Let's see if you were able to get to this point. So my u is 2x plus 3, so my du would be 2dx. So I write it over here. I'm missing a 2 to complete that, so I add the 1/2 outside to balance it. And now I've got, this would be u to the 9th, this would be my du. And once again, I'm not all in the right language. I have that extra x there. So I'm going to take my u and solve it for x, like so. So I get x equals u minus 3 all over 2. And I'm going to plug that in. So plug this equation in to my x. So now this is 2 times u minus 3 over 2 minus 1 all over u to the 9th. Now I'm going to keep going from here. My 2's cancel. So I've got 1/2 because I have one on top, one on bottom. And then u minus 3 minus 1 over u to the 9th du. So this, simplify this even more. This is going to be u minus 4 over u to the 9th. Now, if you get stuck right here, remember that we have a rule that says I can split my denominator up, and that's okay. So now I've got something like that. So what I want you to do now is pause the video and try to finish solving it from there. Meaning simplifying it right here. You're going to want to simplify it. You're going to end up doing your power rule and then plugging your u back in. And then come back and see if you got it right. Come back, let's see how you did. So u over u to the 9th is 1 over u to the 8th. Brought my u to the 9th up and made it negative. And then I brought my u to the 8th up and made it negative. And now I can do my power rule. So I get u to the negative 7 over negative 7 and u to the negative 8 over negative 8. Now I just did some simplifying. So this negative sign I brought out front. The 7 stays down here. And then the u to the 7th I brought down into the denominator to make it positive. This, I have 2 negatives, so that makes a positive. Then I have 4 over 8, which is going to be 1 over 2. And then I brought my u to the 8th down to make it positive, and then plus my constant of integration. And then my last step is to plug my u back in, and then I'm done. Congrats, guys. You are officially done with 6.3 and can get started on your assignment.